that we do provide.
In terms of discipline, if you travel by plane from here to Kigali, Rwanda, you will find that there are certain dispensations in place, no use of plastic bags. Every single other Saturday, citizens go out into the streets, and Kigali is a very small but a very clean city. Now, in Europe, you are taught the manner in which you should put your garbage aside. So biodegradable stuff in one little packet. We don't have such instruments in place here. How long is it going to take Kenyans to see the light?
I would say that really part of the integrated solid waste management is to ensure that different waste streams are collected or channeled into different paths so that we can take advantage of the resources, as you do realize that several waste streams do have resources like plastics.
I go back to the whole
so
idea. I go back to the whole idea of cartels. We said no plastic bags at some point. So many years, so many months later, we still have plastic bags. We're going round in circles. And you're in charge.
I would say that when we came up with I think there were standards for plastic packaging bags, that we needed to produce plastic packaging bags of 30 micron thickness. These standards were generated or formulated by the national government under National Environment Management Authority. At that level, I think I would say there were some consultations looking at the volume of economic return that we do have from the plastic sector itself. That kind of came on board and negotiated, and the standard was kind of reduced. But I look at now as the county having an opportunity, because the county governments are supposed to come with their own laws, which they find can be applied within their jurisdiction. So I'm seeing the county of Nairobi coming up with the standards that would actually regulate on the production and management of plastic bags. And in fact, we have already started that we are going to have plastic packaging. If you are a producer of plastic packaging material in Nairobi, through consultation with NEMA, we should have plastic packagings of 60 micron thickness, so that we encourage reuse, we can encourage recycling, because indeed reuse and recycling is already employing quite a number of youth in this country, and particularly in Nairobi.
Right. I'm also given that you, from your academic studies, there is a lot, you mentioned the word recycling. A lot of this solid waste can be put to good use in other ways. I dare say that it's possible used to have solid waste and make it turned into water yet again. The idea of these huge sort of cleansing factories. Again, you see this kind of image coming out of China, out of India. Are we far behind, or are we thinking of these solutions?
We're actually thinking, or even doing them. I would say we are doing it. It's only that it is not in a structured way. If you get to Nairobi, quite a lot of recycling of paper, plastic is currently going on. What is missing is that we have disjointed efforts of individuals which are not structured, and you cannot maximize the amount of resources that you probably would want from these disjointed efforts. So what we are saying is that the county should come and institutionalize collection points for the different waste streams, so that we get paper consolidated at particular points, such that those who want to take economic advantage out of this can easily access it, as opposed to now when you find that the paper is being picked maybe by a picker who goes to Dandora, works in Dandora, or goes to different neighborhoods and collect this paper. He will then still look for the middleman, where he will have to sell this paper. The middleman will still have to look for somebody who is semi-processing, then the semi-processor will still look for the industrialist who is finally making the final product out of this. So we are saying the chain is too long. What then do we need to do to facilitate our young boys and girls who already are engaged in picking, who are already engaged in semi-processing? So the county will establish collection points for the different waste streams, particularly plastic and paper, because plastic and paper is heavily resourced in this country, if not in Nairobi alone.
I'd like to give you another image. a layman's image of the late John Michuki in his ministerial days in charge of the environment, because you are in a way in charge of the chemical effluents that are sort of could ruin everything, kill every fish in the river. And Michuki was the man who came in and said, you know, round River Road and everything, clear it up, get rid of this. And within months, people were prepared to fish in the self-same river. He's dead, and everything is going back to the way it was before, under your watch.
I would say that indeed we are not just watching what is degrading, the way the Nairobi River is currently degrading. But we are saying that the efforts that the late Michuki started indeed were good, rapid responses to rescue Nairobi River at that time, because really a quick activity or quick actions needed to have been taken, or decisions at that moment. But that left a vacuum, in the sense that we needed to put structures, more sustainable structures, to resource for the funds that would be required to sustain the cleanup activities along the river system, to also compensate, because you realize that part of the riparian is really heavily settled. And who is settling along the riparian? If we take, for example, Nairobi River, we find that garages where our young youth are sourcing for their daily life, they are the ones who are squatting on the riparian. You find that small businesses, our sisters and brothers who do not have any alternative employment opportunity, are the ones doing some economic activities there. So what is it that we need to do? We need to actually come up with an integrated plan for the city of Nairobi and look into where then do we need to relocate these groups of people who are earning livelihood out of the activities they are doing along the river. But of course, there are also detrimental impacts of their activities to the river. So this is what actually we are coming up with. The County of Nairobi is at the moment developing integrated plan that will guide any development in this city. And I believe at that moment we'll be able to deal with the problems facing Nairobi River in a more sustainable way.
One last question, and that is, with respect, I've directed all my queries to you, the individual. Now let's turn it back to me, the citizen. Yeah. What can we as citizens do to help you instead of complaining, which is what I've been doing for the last 20 minutes?
I would say that citizens of Nairobi should not continue complaining, but they should also know that for us to enjoy a clean and healthy environment, we are also expected as generators of waste, for example, to make a contribution or to take part of the responsibility. So as a citizen of Nairobi, if indeed you generate waste, we expect you to make payments for transportation, collection of waste, and even query at some times that contractor who is providing you this service, where does this waste end? You need to know, because that responsibility is yours. As much as the current constitution entitles us to a clean and healthy environment, the same constitution gives us that responsibility to ensure that the environment is clean. So we are calling on all citizens to actually come on board and do their part.
Dr. Leah Oyake, OMBIS, Director of Environment, Nairobi County. Thank you very much for coming on the JSO interview.
Thank you, Joe.